Sige, I'll facilitate pa din. I guess to continue on from activism advocacy, I would also like to call on Cass. She has a shared experience towards a similar experience about an online advocacy campaign.
Okay. Kaya pala ito yung sinasuggest niyo, puro sanay kayo sa online. Okay.
Yeah,
Sir.
yeah, we had like very good experiences for our media and information literacy our final project. It's what do you call this? My group's advocacy was the candidate PH. And then
Uy.
our
Oh.
rationale for that was that it was during the time of like preparation of like elections. And so we wanted to focus on like, educating, promoting voting, among the youth, basically encouraging to register and get to know what the positions are actually about, because we kind of had this realization that, oh yeah, what does like party list representatives actually do? What do they actually represent? What's their responsibilities? And like knowing that knowledge, what would be the type of person that should be there, or their capabilities, the personalities that they should have, if they should be if they're right to represent the people that they're representing, right, for the party list. So that's our main purpose for that advocacy.
So basically, it's a candidate discernment kung sino yung candidate.
Yes, and just to bring in like basically the knowledge of what the positions actually are for, instead of just the surface knowledge of it.
Okay, good.
Sir, is it okay if I could ask a question to Cass lang po?
Yes, go
Just
ahead. Ikaw, di ba ikaw na magpa-facilitate? Manonood lang ako. Sige.
Cass, you've mentioned that your advocacy is primarily about, especially during the elections. How were you able to remain impartial but also informative? Because subconsciously we do have some biases, and perhaps those you have in your advocacy campaign also have their biases. So how are you able to remain impartial whilst also being informative?
I think that's the reason why we avoided talking about the candidates themselves, and more on just providing the basic knowledge of what the positions do, and their responsibilities, and like let the audience discern for themselves now with this new knowledge that they have. And in that sense, we avoided we just simply provided focused on the positions rather than the people to advocate about.
So personality based rather than position rather than personality based. Is that
Yes,
what you're
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Bless. Please continue.
So, what would you say was the most vital part in your campaign? Like in a sense wherein you remember it the most. What skills were you able to? What skills had you equipped or learned throughout this whole campaign?
Okay, definitely the technology part, because like I didn't know that you could schedule posts, because I was like worrying how can we simultaneously post at this exact same time in both Instagram and Facebook. And then I didn't know that you can actually just schedule that like the day before, or like even an hour before, so that it's like exactly at like 5 p.m. for example. So it's like you can like timeline the advocacy, so that like for example like every 2 days there's going to be a post, and so on, so that the engagement and like the information keeps on coming and it's not just, stagnant. So yeah, that's probably one thing. But most definitely, I'm so glad because teamwork was really the biggest part of it, and like knowing your own strengths and what you can contribute the most among your group. Because two people were like really good creatively, and we sort of just all of our like creative ideas we gave to them to you know make it into a reality basically. And then I was part of the research, or like the content part of it. And the thing that we, because it's the youth that we also targeted back then, one of the things that was a challenge was to make the research more friendly to the masses so that it's easily more digestible, instead of just like so much jargon. So I had to make my wordings more friendly, like people friendly, I guess, in that sense, that more people would understand it. 'Cause especially, not everyone is as fluent, or articulate as me in English. So yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'll admit I'm also not that familiar with political jargon, and I've also seen your campaign. So I actually did enjoy it because I think it was very socially engaging. Because I think you really catered to the youth. I think you did them in meme style, like for some.
Yeah,
So I
yes, we did
appreciated.
memes.
So you really catered to the youth, and I genuinely appreciated that. So I guess we could move on, but congrats, Cass. That's very admirable of you.
Pag
Nice
tumakbo
one.
ulit, pag tumakbo ulit si VP Lenny, social media head na si Cass, sabihin ko.
Pwede,
Why
wow,
not?
Cass na. Sige, I guess we could move on. Jewel has something to share from her experience towards service learning and specifically in political engagement. So would you like to begin, Jewel?
Hello, good morning, everyone. So I will be tackling service learning muna. So in service learning, we are um it refers to the educational approach that combines learning objectives with community service in order to provide a pragmatic, progressive learning experience while meeting societal needs. So I have listed here like LTS and CWTS, which are actually the one of the options for NSTP, and then for Girl Scouting and church ministries. For LTS and CWTS, I guess it really hindi pa namin to naranasan because we are still pre-enlisting for it, but based on observation rather, I can really see that LTS just gives like an avenue um for students like us to be in touch with the marginalized sector, especially the young kids who have no means to have a educational future po. So LTS actually pushes students to teach these kids so that they can have like the um basic learning like reading, writing, and all of it, while also having that kind of sense um of nationalism and patriotism while helping these kids. Same also for the CWTS, which is like more on project proposals and do reading programs, drives, and all that. Girl Scout of the Philippines, I'm actually very personal with this because in GSP, I actually did like a Chief Girl Scout medal scheme, which is like the highest award a Girl Scout can receive. So in this, we had a scheme which we can do a 1 year project and you need to sustain it. So what I did was focus on malnutrition in my barangay. I actually conducted a garden. Ang communal garden was like very very hard to maintain because of the sun, of the heat. Tapos meron ka pang like mga recordings at saka paperwork, so it's really tiresome after you after mo after mo maglabas sa school, you really have to go there, like you really have to go to your garden and see what's like the welfare, what's the state, and after every week you need to give those vegetables free to those beneficiaries. So my beneficiaries are like pregnant women, children, at saka sa health center, they also do feeding programs. So I collaborated with them. And it's actually really nice because every week, hindi na sila kailangan maggastos for these kinds of food. Pwede na silang kumuha ng vegetables sa garden na mismo. So all they actually have to do is help maintaining it. So I actually inquire. So it's actually like a community service na rin. They get to help. There's like a community bond within that. So, while helping, they get to interact with each other. So yun. After that 1 week or after that 1 year of preparation of maintaining that garden, I turn over that garden to the barangay itself. So, binigay ko na sa kanila as a somewhat like a gift na. So yon. Tapos for church ministries, I guess if you're like under the children's ministries, um under the children's ministries, it's actually the same as LTS where you teach kids but more on Bible stories, moral lessons about the word of God and anything that's biblical that is a Bible foundation. So based on siguro yung learnings ko lang talaga is that um for LTS and CWADs, you really need to like have an interaction with the community, have a sense um of awareness on what's going around you. I guess yung meron talagang sectors na okay, dito we have a lack of access to education, dito they have malnutrition. So what can you actually do about it? So in Girl Scouting, NSTP and church ministries, they give you like an opportunity to just to put your step forward into it and make a difference in our society. So that is it for service learning. Let's move on to political engagement.
Um,
So okay,
sige,
go
Jewel,
Rebecca.
sige. Before we move on to political engagement, I'd like to ask about your service learning because you've mentioned you made what do you call this? You wanted to address malnutrition in the community with a solution of like what's that called? Yung garden thingy for the vegetables and like that, right? Am I mistaken? Sorry.
Yes, vegetable garden.
So how are you able to effectively communicate with the people in the community to collaborate with them or and also ensure that that garden is a sustainable solution to that community in addressing malnutrition?
Actually, the one part na medyo difficult was actually interacting with the beneficiaries itself because they have families to attend to. What I actually do is collaborate with the barangay hall, their officials, and the health center itself. Um, yung health center, they actually call on every Saturday the mothers there na konting linis lang, konting like drizzle the water and mag-harvest na. So usually it's actually about communication with the higher officials and then nakikita mo talaga that they really wanted to help. They really wanted to eradicate malnutrition and also serve this pregnant women. Meron din actually pregnant women, so that's one of the very difficult ones. Pero yung mga mothers na may kaya, so yun talaga yung tinawag namin.
Okay, thank you. I think you can move on now to political engagement. Thank you, Jewel.
Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to political engagement. For political engagement, examples of these are like activities including voting in elections, promoting the right to suffrage, helping a political campaign, donating money to a candidate or a cause, or contacting officials on what to do to best serve the community. So what I wrote here, mostly I contributed here. So political engagement, yung house-to-house campaign to Lenny and Kiko. So um I'm not actually personally pumunta house to house, but I just campaigned her on for online. So it's really nice to see that um in observation lang my classmates, kasi bawal ako kasi like malayo yung house to house campaign, nasa Cadiz ako, nandun sila sa Bacolod. But in Cadiz pa rin, I do online to to promote Lenny and Kiko. So makikita mo talaga the volunteerism in these kids na they really wanted to have a pink future, and um they really have makikita mo talaga na kahit they're this young, they really wanted to have a future that they can really see themselves in. And for them, Lenny and Kiko is like the right lane for them. Although it's not necessarily Lenny and Kiko lang, meron din mga tao for Marcos, um for Soto, and Damagoso ba? Basta kay Mayor, kay Yorme. So yun, you can really see, sorry, I forgot the name. Basta kay Yorme. So you can really see that these children or these teenagers really wanted to have, they really like fighting for the future, for the national future that they want. So that's like, you can really see in political engagement. Second would be people donating for causes like animal rescue. So you can really see in Facebook na nagdo like there's fundraising, gusto nila mag animal rescue, mag mural painting, mag-donate for eskwelahans, for in the name of the political candidate that they want, or mismo yung idolo nila. So that's one of the political engagements. I took part in it by donating as much as I can. So there are like charity works that are perpetuated, that are conducted by these officials. Next one would be the mock elections that are conducted by the school. So in University of St. La Salle Bacolod, they do this mock elections to see to practice the right to suffrage of these students. So in political engagement, it really emphasized that your right to suffrage and how do these students fight for the national future that they are looking for the candidates that they want to depend on. So at least ngayon, they can have like the sense of awareness kung sino yung dapat at sino yung hindi dapat. Kung ano yung dapat gawin at ano yung dapat gawin. So at this point, at least 'di ba, kahit sa government local government unit pa lang mapapractice na nila, what more pa for the national one. So at least 'di ba, if this can actually be like um an opportunity for them na hala gusto ko na maging president, para kasi I feel like dami ko ng, because I feel like I have so much to do in this world, in this country. So I actually seen that sa mga classmates ko nga, because of the elections, they wanted to be like the president, they wanted to be like the secretary. So it's really nice because na nag-aalab yung puso nila to really improve the bureaucratic system of the Philippines itself. So that is it for the political engagement.
Thank you so much, Jewel. But that's very admirable. I think it's very apparent that you've really been very hands-on and very engaged in this 2022 elections. So I think Bianca would also like to share her personal experience about the house-to-house campaigning during the 2022 elections.
Hello, yes. Back in April, nag-house to house campaign. No, May. Nag-house to house campaign kami sa Aklan, and on our first day ng house to house campaign namin, we were very few, like 5 lang kami, and most of it youth. So it was a challenge for us kasi 5 lang kami, and ang dami namin dapat puntahan na bahay. So at that time, hindi lang campaign talaga yung ano namin, yung goal namin. It was also to fight disinformation. Kasi sa Aklan, yung mga house doon, syempre sa bukid. So yung ano talaga namin is ano kaya yung nararating ng ano ng mga ng news. So when we got there, we crossed a river pa. Kasi yun yung unang goal namin. Yung pinakamalayo muna yung pinuntahan namin. And when we got there, actually, I was actually shocked na may mga tao na sabi nila, of course, they were Lenny. But on other parts, kasi pumapasok talaga kami sa bayan, we would ask them, we would promote Lenny. And of course, it's normal na some people would shut us down. So when we talked about Lenny, some people would say na, ay hindi na, parang close na sila na ganito na yung i-vote nila, ito na yung i-vote nila. And we were not given a chance to talk about Lenny or Kiko, yung ano talaga namin. So, yung ano namin doon, we would ask, bakit po? Ano po yung ano? I mean, hindi naman namin ipupush sa kanila. We just want to know why. And why would they act like that to us? So, we learned na ang bilis ng money, how money works. Kasi yung mayor namin doon was a different candidate. So, we learned na yung mayor namin, he was working na to give money na sa ibang mga tao. And actually, umamin naman yung mga tao na ganito sila, na binayaran sila to vote for this certain candidate. So, wala na kaming magagawa doon kasi actually sinasabi na nila na wala, si mayor kasi nagbibigay sa amin ng ganito, si mayor kasi nang papatrabaho sa asawa ko, si mayor yung nagpapaaral sa anak ko. So, parang obligated sila to vote for that certain candidate kasi binigyan sila ng pera. So, yun yung mahirap sa amin na part. Pero, yung pagdating naman sa disinformation, yung sa amin chismis. Yun talaga yung yun yung sobrang sa Aklan. Kasi sa bukid, hindi lahat ng tao, especially the elderly, wala silang social media. And hindi rin naman nararating ng mga kung ano yung mga magagandang nakikita sa social media, especially wala ring TV. So, chismis talaga yung malala doon. But I'm actually happy na kapag kinakausap mo sila, they would actually listen to you. And they would say na, oo, ganito. Nag-aano naman sila. They give us a chance. And there was this one time na pumunta kami sa bahay ng isang matandang babae. And sabi niya, nung nakita niya pa lang na pink yung suot namin, sabi niya, Lenny ako kasi I remember na experience ko at that time. I was a vendor in Manila, martial law. And she experienced it firsthand. Like nakita niya kung paano daw pinapatay yung mga tao right in front of her eyes. And it was traumatizing, which caused her to go back to Aklan and never come back to Manila again kasi na-traumatize siya. So, yun lang din naman yung experience ko. And habang tumatagal yung house-to-house campaign namin, dumami kami. Like, na-encourage namin yung ibang youth and surprisingly, yung mga yung mga elderly din. Kasi, di ba usually, you expect elder people na hindi na sila mag-join sa ganyan, pangbata na yung ganyan. Kasi nga, it's too much work. Aakit ka ng bundok, pupunta ka sa, magka-cross ka ng hanging bridge. Pero, it was surprising na the last day of our house-to-house campaign, we were mga 25 kami na magkakasama. So yun, that was my experience with the house-to-house campaign.
I'll be honest though, like while listening about like perhaps like vote buying, na-dishearten ako a bit about the truth talaga. Like it really happens during campaigns. But I'd
Yes.
also like to ask, like for both Jule and Bianca, how has your experience this 2022 elections, do you think changed your perception towards elections for future presidential elections? Like what do you now want to consider in terms of like this or like that? So yeah, we can start with Bianca na lang muna.
What's my, can you repeat the question? I was like,
Um, How has your experiences, like your personal experiences, these 2022 elections, changed your perspective for future elections? Like, what do you now consider in terms of like your candidate? How would you now address like vote buying, or would you still do house to house campaigning and such?
I would still do house to house campaign. I would still volunteer again. Hindi ako mapapagod to do that again. Because ang hirap, honestly, ang hirap kalaban ng vote buying. Hindi ko alam, I mean, lahat tayo hindi natin alam paano natin sa stop yung ganun. But, siguro, kasi ang dami na namin ginawa to encourage the youth and the other people. Siguro ano pa, yung pag-fight na lang talaga sa disinformation yung need talaga para kasi hanggang ngayon kahit yung mga bata na ano pa rin sa disinformation when it comes to social media. So, yun lang yung ano ko. And I think we should not force our chosen candidate sa ibang tao. Yun lang yung naano ko.
Okay, thank you so much, Bianca. That's nice. Okay, let's hear from Jewel.
I think for me, what I really got from the national elections noon is that it really gave like a ponder no, let me rephrase that. The national elections really made you stand for what you think is right, what you really believe on. And for me, those elections, yung national on, parang ko talaga namulat na yung mga tao. They really saw what's happening right now. It really gave them a chance to scrutinize the bigger picture, to really be in the no zone on ano talaga yung totoo, ano talaga yung tama. So, um, katulad ni Bianca, if I really see like a candidate that has already done something for the betterment of the community, I wouldn't change it for the world to support them. Although we were actually tasked to be apolitical, but being in the sense na political science or nasa department ka na to, you really can't hinder it. You really can't stop it to fight for what you think is for the betterment of the community. So I really think that the youth today or the future generation can really step forward. It's really like a challenge for the youth or tayong mga tao and the generation that comes next to us to really step up their game and to to really be in the no zone, to really understand what's the political welfare the state ngayon ng ating bansa. And um you know what, I really like that the youth today are really standing up for what is right. And based on you guys, based on what I'm saying right now, it's really like a key indicator, an obvious example on where putting right now is like for the future of our nation. So yes, I wouldn't change it for the world yung pag-support kung ano yung what I believe is truly what the people or what the country deserves. So yan po.
Thank you so much, Jewel. That's nice. Let's hear from another person, I think from Pau, who has also her personal experience with her BS words. Yeah, you can start sharing.
Okay, so as someone na BS org ever since elementary up until now, no, not now, hindi pa ngayon. So let me start with the community service. So I am part of campaign character education and tenacity, which is CACHE. It is a non-government organization. So basically private siya, and then we're not ano talaga under the government. And then that org, hindi ko talaga siya first choice. Like, wala talaga sa intention ko na sumali sa org na yon. Basically, sumali lang ako sa org na yon kasi andun yung mga friends ko and not to like learn and then serve the community. But then, nung nandun na ako, during the seminars every month, um, nagkakaroon ako ng reflection in some sense na parang, oh my God, ganyan pala yung ginagawa ko, mali pala yun. And then like, sabi ko, ala, dapat baguhin ko na yun. And then, parang nagre-reflect na ako every time sa seminars.
Pauline, before you continue, kasi new topic na siya, no? Can I just go back yung kay Jewel and yung kay and just add something in si Jewel and Bianca, they're sharing on politics. Is that okay? And then we'll continue with you, Pauline. Okay. No? Thank you very much for the very inspiring sharing. Sorry. Bless, okay lang. I know that you have the floor and you're
For
the one facilitating. No, I just want to add something on, and I want to capture the opportunity. Kasi you guys are sharing inspiring stories, and from the trend of this group, it's a very powerful group, including the community sharing. No? But let me also join into that sharing. My nephew called me when right after the campaign when Lenny lost, to share a frustration. Sabi niya, Tito, I'm so mad. Sabi niya, sabi ko, bakit? Lenny lost. Sabi ko, is this the first time you voted? Sabi ko sa kanya, yes. No. Okay, that's okay. Sabi niya, did you expect her to win? Yes. We expected her to win. We were working just like what Jewel and was it Bianca was doing. No? Okay, so I didn't want to tell him that na hindi ngunit binoto mo mananalo na, no? That's part of that race. Sabi ko ganun. Tinanong ko siya, what other things did you do besides voting for him? Well, I volunteered once. Actually, once lang yata siya nag-volunteer. Sabi ko, okay, that's still good. Is there anything else that you could have done, you think? Sabi niya, I don't know kasi I'm still new, I'm still young. Sabi ko sa kanya, don't rush to answer the questions and why she did not win. And I'd like to bring that same thing with you, because it can put doubt in your hearts, and it can rain down on volunteerism. I'd like to share a quote um, from a poet. No, and this is very good for leaders like you. Can I volunteer? Can I get somebody to read besides somebody from Group 2 the quote aloud? Chin, can you read this aloud, please, for the class? Kung di si Chin, Jana or Jeff?
Hi, sir.
Oh, Chin, sige, go ahead. Please read aloud.
Medyo naglalag lang po. I'm on my data lang rin po kasi.
Okay lang.
Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms, and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you. Sorry, wait lang. Do not seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. At the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer.
Okay. Well, I want you guys to encourage. I want to encourage you to find the joy in dwelling in the uncertainty and the answers. Kasi sometimes we want to be able to control things and we want answers. Naghirap ako, nag-araw-araw ako, hanggang sa dulo ng campaign. Bakit wala yung sagot sa akin? No? And the point there is for you to be able to sometimes look into yourselves. What have I learned? That's part of the deeper learning. By the way, we're already level up tayo ulit, no? In terms of civic learning. We're already looking into formation level. That sabi nga nila, there was this guy who was trying to move the rock. Sabi niya, push with all you can. Try to move the rock as strong as you can. But the rock did not budge. And then he asked that person again, move it again. Give it all you've got. And God was the one saying, move it all you've got. But yeah, Lord, why are you asking me to move a rock? You know that I cannot. But suddenly the Lord said, look at yourself. How have you grown in trying to move the rock? How have you grown stronger in trying to move the rock? So actually, trying to find the answers and may not be the right question, but also dwelling into living the questions can actually provide a lot of benefits. And that's actually a whole new level of civic learning, no? That's called formation. And gusto ko lang ma-capture at ma-exploit yung moment na sharing ni Jewel at saka ni Bianca kanina, because that's very rare. That and I'd like to commend you guys that one, Jewel appreciated na kahit hindi for Lenny, nakita niya yung mga kabataan na nandun hindi lang para dun sa kampanya, kung hindi para sa kinabukasan ng bayan. Kahit sinong kandidato yung kanyang tinutulak. That's very laudable. Pangalawa, kahit na frustrating na may vote buying, gusto pa rin ituloy kasi nakita niya na meron tong kakaratnan. Hindi pa ngayon nakikita, pero darating yun. And this quote, I think, captured it. While Bianca was sharing, I tried to search for this because I remembered it again. So yun lang. Thank you very much, Bless, for giving me the opportunity to interject here. And I'd like you to request you to continue with the sharing of Pauline. Good job, guys.
Pao, you can take the floor. Ready when you are.
Okay, so going back to my sharing, so basically my intention of like joining the organization, which is like a Shay, is basically just for fun because andun yung friends ko. But as time goes by, as like marami na yung mga seminars na na-attendan ko, and then nagko-conduct na kami ng mga community service such as like the cleanup drive wherein since yung area namin lagi siyang binabaha, and then na-encourage na din namin yung mga citizens to like join us na maglilinis na rin sila. Like, every week, naglilinis sila ng drainage, tapos maayos na yung solid waste management nila. Tapos, for the malnutrition naman sa amin, yung mga bata na nakatira sa squatters area ng isang part ng barangay namin, nagkokanda kami ng feeding program. And you know what's funny talaga is like, I never expect myself na magluluto ako for other people. And then like, it was actually my first time cooking for someone, not even someone, like a group of kids. And then nung tinanong mo sila, how was it? Masarap daw. Like, iba yung kilig. And then like, sobrang fulfilling niya for like first timer na nagluto. 'Di ba tapos sasabihin tapos tinatanong ko, "Uy baka niloloko mo lang kami, baka mamaya sinasabi mo lang kasi libre." Sabi niya, "Hindi po, totoo talaga." So sabi ko, "Oh my God," kilig ako, gano'n po. And then like, natutunan ko rin po dun all throughout the community services like with the partnership sa Ateneo Code since nagpunta sila sa school namin to like conduct like a seminar about like good governance in the school level, and then in-invite po namin yung mga class presidents and then like yung mga part din po ng different organizations sa schools namin to like join us. How can we conduct the good governance in our school, and syempre ma-share din namin sa mga students, and the students will eventually share it to other people, and then like parang pasa-pasa na tayo ng informations, 'di ba? Para mas ma-encourage pa natin yung ibang tao. And then natutunan ko rin po na makipag kausap sa ibang tao. Like, syempre, different people with different attitudes. Like, you have to deal with every single one of them. Like, kailangan, hindi ka lang salita ng salita eh. Kailangan you have to listen to them. And then, like, natutunan ko rin for community services, like, yung mga, nagpupunta kami sa mga outreach programs, like nagpupunta kami sa mga victims ng sexual abuse, and then like you get to hear their stories. Parang sasabihin mo na, grabe may ganun pala talaga nangyayari. Like, parang sinasabi mo na, oh, yun naman nangyayari sa akin yun, kaya okay lang. Pero like, pag nandun ka na, parang dala-dala mo eh, parang sasabihin mo na, oh, hindi mo masasabi na, "Oh, lucky ako, eh. Lucky ako kasi hindi nangyari sa'kin yun." Hindi gano'n, eh. Parang iba yung take mo sa kanya na dadalhin mo siya hanggang siguro tumanda ka. Yung mga stories nila, yung like paano nila dinil yung problem na yun, ano yung nangyaring pag-cope nila. Like, siyempre papasok din yun sa depression, of course, and then like maiintindihan mo na iba-iba pala talaga paano mag-cope yung tao, and gano'n. So, basically tapos sa sunod naman, so for the community engagement research, I am an allied health student nung senior high school. So, basically dapat magpe-pre-med ako, pero andito ako ngayon. And then, so for our work immersion kasi, nagko-conduct kami ng papers like, ano yung gusto mong ayusin in terms of like the public health, or like ano yung gusto mong topic. Parang as a student, what can you do to contribute, ganun. And then like yung topic namin, since we have a hospital, so sabi ko, why not we choose our hospital to like conduct the research? Para matulungan din natin sila in case merong may problems, or like ano pa yung pwede nilang idagdag para matulungan yung patients, the community, and also their workers. So dun sa research namin, it was actually the solid waste management of our hospital. So basically, paano nila inaayos yung pagtatapon ng basura, kasi syempre nasa community yun eh. Kapag may contamination na nangyari dun, damay-damay lahat. So maraming tao. And then malaki yung damage no, not only the hospital but also the community. Tas pwede pa silang magbayad since may penalties. So me and then my group mates, we wanted to help our hospital na, oh, ganito yung nalaman namin. Ganito yung sabi ng mga workers nyo. Ganito yung sabi ng mga patients. Yung ganito yung sabi ng communities na nasa vicinity ng hospital. And then, they take it into consideration. Like, sabi nila, okay, we will fix this. Okay, we will talk to the communities na surrounding the hospital. And then, like, we will try to like find another dump site kung saan mas okay, and then like mas masa-sanitize yung waste since 'di ba nagka-COVID-19 pandemic. So basically, mas hazardous talaga yung waste na pinoproduce nila. So they take it into consideration, which is like nagkaroon kami ng engagement within the community na, and then the hospital. Tapos very thankful sila actually because of our work, kasi nalaman nila na may ganun palang problem na nangyari sa hospital nila, but they were not aware of it. And now na nagawa namin yung paper na yun, na-address na yung problem na yun, and then eventually nagkaroon na rin siya ng solution. And for lastly, for the activism and advocacy, I am also part of Kaibiga Sulong Integridad. It is actually a organization na under naman ng Office of the Ombudsman. Nami-meet namin yung ombudsman before the pre-pandemic, and then like nagto-talk siya about how can we promote integrity not only in the school setting but also in general, like sa everyday living. And for that, ang na-adapt naman namin doon, nagko-conduct kami ng different programs such as Sweet Truth. Ito yung store kung saan walang tindera. So basically, naka-display lang doon yung mga paninda, and then like bahala ka magsupli ka sa sarili mo, ikaw kumuha. And parang ilista mo na lang doon sa sa notebook kung ano yung binili mo, ilan yung kinuha mo, and then magkano yung pera mo, and then yung sinukli mo sa sarili mo. So bale parang sabi namin, ay nako, bahala kayo diyan kapag kayo nanguha kayo diyan, kapag nangupit kayo. Makikita kayo ni Lord. Kasi may mukha siya ni Lord doon sa may tindahan namin. Makikita kayo ni Lord. And then, may times talaga na hindi talaga may iwasan din po talaga yung makaka-encounter ka ng days na marami yung kupit. Tapos, meron namang days na sobra-sobra pa yung, yung money na nakukuha namin. And then eventually, yung money naman na nakukuha namin dun sa tindahan na yun, pinang-fund namin siya for cachet, para meron kami pang feeding program, pang seminars, pang conduct ng mga outreach programs, like nagpapa-drawings kami sa mga bata, and then like ipapa-exhibit namin siya, ganun. Kasi like Kashay po is under University of Asia and the Pacific, UANP. So partner po kami nung school namin. But, yun po.
Les, is it okay if I also interject? Yeah. Once again, I'd like to commend this group because yun yung culture, by the way, ng civic learning. Pag nagle-level up, automatic yung environment nagle-level up. No? And once again, I'd like to encourage the group here because you're already on the leadership portion. Wala pa tayo doon, pero pumupunta na kayo doon. Because you've leveled up on the way you're facilitating. So commending Bless and also the group. No? And part of it is really establishing that dialogic. Yun yung dialogic. Nakita mo may momentum yung conversation, yung level ng sharing. That's one. There are actually a couple of things to look at when you're facilitating at this level. Sorry, nag-aano ko para rin makita niyo yung pointers, hindi lang yung inspiration. When facilitating adaptive sessions like this, the first is the technical skill, which you guys also outlined without even asking, nagsisharing na kayo ng technical skills na natutunan ninyo. And second, yung adaptive challenges and learnings. Yung senior ni Pauline is already the truth experiment, actually the truth store, that's called the truth experiment. And both you learn from yung kupit, and you learn also from the positive parts, diba? So that's the second part, the adaptive challenges and learnings. Actually, you gain more fruit there than the technical, but you need both, no? Kasi the technical gives you the actual raw skill to be able to engage the issue. The adaptive part gives you a deeper insight into behavioral challenges, no? The third is the jewel of all three, is harvesting stories that integrate and norm behavior. Okay, when you can frame these experiences into a story that engage and inspire, full circle yung civic learning. No, and I'll give that example later. I actually have my own story, and there's a technique in crafting those stories. No, I'll teach you that later as a leadership skill. You can use that later on. Besides your skill in social media, si Cass at si Bless magaling sa social media, besides your skill in house to house, no? Si Bianca and si Jewel and si Pauline, yung kanyang social experiment ng Truth Store. Yung crafting ng story is another skill that I will teach you in the leadership part, no? Sorry, I interrupted again. I just wanted to be able to capture the moment to consolidate the learning, no? Because this is a leveled up civic learning, and actually this is what I wanted to be able to communicate, which this group was able to capture. That as leaders, when you craft engagement, you need to be conscious of that formative level. This is actually what we call venue for transformation na to eh. Venues for transformative learning. No? So yung civic learnings ninyo nagle-level up because of reflection. Yun lang. Bless, please continue.
Sir, very grateful for your input as well. I think it kind of adds value na din to our lives na this subject is not just primarily for us to learn, but it's also to reflect and apply it in our lives as we also move on. Especially, I think college is not only based on academics. We also have to learn how to equip ourselves with skills for our future and to also improve ourselves as individuals. But I'd also like to thank Pao for that sharing. I think her story in Cache and yung ginagawa niya with the hospitals highlighted both the privilege and the luxury that we don't necessarily the privilege and the luxury na we don't have the first-hand witness of experiencing, like for example, like poverty or like that. We're truly blessed to even be studying in this prestigious university. And I also like to commend Pao for sharing your creativity with your group regarding the research with the hospital and the dump sites and like that. So I guess Pao shared it very comprehensively, but I think we could honestly end here because I think Group 3 would also like to share their points. So thank you so much, sir, and thank you to our group mates and the audiences.
Group 3, huwag kayong ma-pressure ha, ng konti. Ha? Just joking. Palakpakan natin ang Group 2. Excellent, excellent. Seeking your permission again to share on an example of transformative learning, Bless. I'd like to share this with the other class because this is a leveled up way of facilitation. Congratulations again, Group 2. Okay, we move forward. Group 3, meron ba kayong wait, before we go to Group 3, is there any question from the class? Kanina si Ashley. Ashley, would you like to raise that here? Sabi niya, can we have political engagement beyond election? Ashley, can you please raise it? I think that's very important.
Ay, sir. Ba't
Sige
bigla
na.
ako na spotlight dito? Ay, hindi na ano po kasi, like, napapansin ko lang po kasi, majority kasi sa Philippines, when it comes to political engagement, lagi po nakokonektahan po yung election advocacy. We can also connect it to personality politics. Kasi ako nga, bilang galing sa China, yung political engagement po namin is very different from the Philippines. So parang, wala lang na-raise ko lang yung concern kasi para sa akin.
Please share an example para matuto rin tayo.
Okay, sige. In China po kasi, yung political engagement po, like I said, I'm part of the mandatory po sa amin, yung Communist Youth League of China. So, hindi lang naman po, it's more on about, about advocating or raising the awareness of our election in the Congress sa China. But we are also to highlight yung patriotism and nationalistic spirit namin in our engagement po. So
Okay, if you're going to translate it here, kasi kung magandang practice yun, how would you do it if you're going to set up an advocacy?
here po sa Philippines,
Oh,
if we are to adopt the one in China. Actually, I'm not sure with that yet because hindi naman po ako yung tipong mahilig po talagang
yeah,
mag-advocate.
pero kasi we're talking about civic learning. So if we're going to create a civic learning environment here, 'di ba? Sabi mo maganda yung political volunteerism mo because it is beyond election ng Congress. By the way, tama yun. Political engagements can go beyond election. And you're correct once again that the Philippines is focused on election as a political exercise. There are actually others, no? Um, um, but I'm trying to see dun sa civic learning mo dun sa China, kung kayang ma-translate dito. If you try to translate, what is the activity that you experience there as a volunteer or even as a mandatory na patriotism that can be done here?
Honestly, sir, siguro dapat magsa-start to from the government itself. Like, they should have like a youth wing for this. Like, mag-aano po sila. Kasi para po sa akin, meron na pong youth wing po yung government, like the National Youth Commission. But
Yes.
I find it very, very, ano po ba, bland at marami pong pagkukulang. Because I'm also part of NYC, but I left because yung mga ginagawa po namin is not, it's something that is very blunt at hindi
So
po siya
what is one activity that you can visualize?
It's really to promote the inner patriotism po. Kasi karamihan, para po sa akin it's just on my opinion po. Karamihan po kasi sa mga Pinoy, they really lack the spirit of nationalism po. If history itself, karamihan po ay wala pong pake, paano pa po kaya po ang identidad po ng mga Pinoy ay hindi po nilang masyadong hina-highlight po sa sarili nila. So
Okay,
I believe it
sige.
also should start from the person as well.
Okay, sige. Let me push it forward, push the envelope, and I will use the example ni Pauline kanina, no? So yung kay Pauline kanina, yung waste ng ospital, nagkataon may access siya sa ospital dahil kanila ospital, inanalyze nila, ni-research nila, no? Pagkatapos, nung nakita niya, nalaman nila kung nagbigay sila ng advice sa hospital. Pauline, tama ba? Nagbigay kayo ng advice based on your research? Pau? Pauline? Pauline? Ay, wala na si Pauline. Alam ko, nagbigay
Sir,
siya.
sorry, baka na ano yung connection siguro ni Pao.
Si Pau. So, I heard kanina nagbigay siya ng yung grupo nila ng suggestion paano magkakaroon ng waste disposal to improve. Meron ng policy pero this is to improve para rin yung community aware dun sa waste disposal ng hospital. Now, Ashley, if they took it further and they lobbied for a policy with the city or with the barangay, even the city, so that the city will have a policy on waste disposal or organic waste disposal or health hazard waste disposal rather. That is actually a political exercise. So what I'm trying to say, Ashley, is many of the civic engagements are community-based. Diba, we have two engagements, we have two goals, community grounding. So first is that it needs to be community grounded, so it's relevant to society. No? Second, yung democratic agenda, if you scale up that community engagement and you are able to create a policy, a law, diba? So that the local government or even national government are able to push a law regarding that policy that was pushed by the civic organization or the civic engagement, that is a political engagement. Would you agree, Ashley?
Yes po.
In maybe later on during the leadership portion, I can show a video. One of the things that we did during the drug war, we were helping LGUs cope with the heavy mandate of the national government. Kasi the drug war was over mandated but under supported, no? May mandate to do tokhang, pero there's very little policy that enables local government to even allocate funding for it, no? So we were helping local government, and we were even donating in the program. Pero ang condition namin was that the local government must create policies that are health-based in approach for the drug war. Diba? That's an example of a political engagement. So it doesn't have to start from government. Remember, political engagement is both vertical and horizontal. Okay, you can also engage government, so it doesn't start from the top. It can start from the society, and it's still called a political engagement. That's why we're in a political science class. Okay. Questions? Ashley, na ano ba? Na-clarify. Okay, good. Kasi may question ka kanina eh. Is there a way to engage beyond elections? Yes, that's what I'm trying to answer. Now, so let's go to group 3, and I'd like to encourage and once again affirm this class for having this level of conversation. Even yung question ni Ashley is actually a leveled up question. No, thank you for raising that beyond the private chat, Ashley. Thank you very much. Group 3.
Hello, sir.
It's 12:07. You can take even the whole time until the end of the class.
Okay po. Hello, sir. Ano po?
Yes,
So,
Sophia, go.
start na po kami for sa activism.
Do you need to share anything?
No, sir. We'll be sharing the Jamboard lang po.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sir. So first po, for activism and advocacy po, I wrote Campaign for Better Environment and Human Rights and signing petitions po. So actually, sir, for basing from my experience po, sir, in high school po, especially senior high school po, sir, when I was graduating po. So I was the SSG president po in our school and in our city po for while the elections are happening din po. So pero sir, actually we were told to be to become a political po. And that really hurts our agenda po, kasi we were also told to be quiet on social issues po. So there are a lot po, and sa human rights po na yon na part po na ganon sa activism and advocacy, I personally advocate for human rights po and such po. So I was signing petitions po here and then, and I was sharing things po. And I would like to use our platform po, since we have a big following group po sa page namin, to to talk about social issues and such po. But we were not allowed to use it po, even though it was in our memorandum po na pwede, and hiwalay po ang government ang student government sa school po. And one time din po for
What school was this?
Okay, sir. Antipolo Science High School po.
Okay, sige. Yeah. No, I don't want to condemn them. Yes, pero kasi iba-iba eh. You cannot second guess their policy. I'm just curious. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. We were told to be lang po sa low-key, kumbaga, sir, for our personal lives, not as
Yeah. Maybe they were thinking of your
Yes,
safety.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Pero sir, one time po, it was yung pumutok po yung issue na hindi po pinapayagan ng LGBT students na umakyat ng stage with their own identity po. Pumutok po yun sa nung graduation po.
Wow, de gulo.
Yes po. As the president of the students po all around our city po. So I had to I got a message 10
Wait.
p.m.
Presidente ka no ng student council?
Yes po, of our whole
Aray ko,
city.
di ang gulo. Ang sakit ng ulo yun.
Yes, sir.
Sige,
Tapos
go
sir,
ahead.
I got a message po at 10 p.m. saying na yun nga po, press, what will we do? Ganun po. So I didn't know the issue po muna noon kasi patulog na po ako. And then I saw, yun nga po yung students. There are schools in our city po na hindi pinapayagan yung other students na umakyat ng stage po gamit yung identity nila. Like, mahaba yung buhok, ganun po.
Yeah.
So I asked the regional sa president naman po ng regional namin po. And then
How to
our
handle the situation.
yes po, our president po ng regional po namin, I asked her na if pwedeng magpadala ng letter to to Regional Director Panchot po regarding this issue po. And she said she's doing it right now po. So 10 p.m. po nun, parang gabi na po, and she's doing things po. And also po ayun po, I think that is one of my biggest
Teka,
super
how did you guys resolve that's by
Sir,
the way, level up din ito itong situation, itong learning na to, dahil this is what you call naman an ethical dilemma.
Yes, sir.
How did you resolve it?
Sir, actually, sir, ayun po, the regional director released a memorandum again po na papayagan yung students na umakyat ng stage po. Kaso, sir,
Paano yung school?
actually nga, sir, walang sa school, sir. Basta naglabas po sila ng memorandum. But then, sir, isa pa pong namin, sir, parang yung other schools nga po. Since natapos na yung graduation, sir, so tapos na rin po, nag-cut na ng hair yung So, nailabas yung memorandum, sir, parang post-graduation na. So, we asked po again if so, I told our yung mga
Ano yun?
students.
Sadya ba nilabas after graduation?
Sir,
Or you think
I think, sir, dala rin po ng ng tagal po magpadala. Ang hirap po
okay.
magpadala po sa kinatataas. Yun din po yung isa
Sige.
sa namin sa
Pause muna, Sophia, so that they can share on the learnings. Why is this an ethical dilemma? No, I won't anymore process it. One, you have the policy of the school, diba? That's a value. Ibig sabihin, you need to, the part of the value is following the policy. And then the other one, you have the LGBTQ rights and identity, which is also a value. Okay, so both are valuable. Ethical dilemmas happen. By the way, ethical is higher than critical thinking in terms of leadership. Ethical dilemmas happen when two values collide. Okay, and as a leader, understanding which is more important is actually a leadership moment. So what Sophia's sharing is actually a leadership moment. And part of that civic learning that we need to understand here is that how did you manage the situation? And that's actually a high level of leadership already. Kasi hindi mo madaling pwedeng baliwalain yung eskwelahan. Hindi mo rin pwede baliwalain yung LGBTQ. Okay? So once again, it's easier said than done. So you really need to be able to listen to the groups that will be affected, and also listen to the school and how they're going to handle it, so that they're not put in a very difficult spot. So that goes beyond the technical challenge. Usually, ethical issues are very, very delicate. Ang tawag nila dyan, masalimuot na sitwasyon.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so as it ended up, nagkataon, nag-graduate na, naputulan din ang buhok, pero na-release pa rin yung memo, di ba?
Yes, sir.
No? How the school did not react na?
Sir, yes po, they did not. But ano po, sir, we said na ano po, sana for the next graduation, sir, it will not happen again. Because ano po, so yun po, naging future ano na po kami.
Teka, yung sana it will not happen again.
It
Hanggang
will
doon na lang ba or may policy na?
Meron na pong memorandum, sir. So may
Ano
harap
sabi
na
ng
po.
memorandum?
Wait, sir, I'm trying to find the DepEd memorandum po.
You know,
But sir,
what do you recall lang? Okay na yun.
yes, sir. But I recalled, sir, indicated in the memorandum, sir, the students are allowed to express their gender identity, with in schools po to promote rin po yung safety rin po nila and yung po nila, yun po yung expression of gender identity rin po nila.
Okay.
Yes po.
So ayun, na-resolve siya. So good for
Yes,
you
sir.
and good for the community. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Guys, question kay Sofia. That's also higher level of learning.
Sir, actually, sir, yung ethical dilemma, sir, after nun, sir, kasi ang dami, di ba po,
Meron bang blowbacks? Meron mga fallout after? Ay, nawala si Sofia.
Hello, sir. Ayan.
Oo.
Sir, actually, sir, habang nag-aano po ako sa mga, nag-weigh in po ako sa school policy and how we were being limited po. And kung ano po yung advocacy po namin as a student government, sir. Actually, hindi po ako makatulog po nun. Grabe po yung, sir, umiyak pa po ako one time sa teacher ko po nun. Kasi napagalitan po one time yung advisor po namin sa sa admin po because I released the statement po, sir. Oh my God. Yun
Sige,
po.
ang sarap pagtawanan, ano, when you look
Yes,
back.
sir.
Sige, anong statement mong nirelease?
Sir, actually, sir, ang vague nung statement, sir, pero ayaw ng school agad, sir. I said
Sandali, yung statement, ikaw gumawa.
yes, sir.
And the statement, ano yung as a student council, di ba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But
Teka, pero is the student council independent of the school? How are you representing the student council? Speaking
Sir,
for the school or was it really for the council?
Sir, we are actually, sir, ang advocate po namin, speaking for the students po. Since the students
Okay.
are also asking for our, for our help, ganun po.
Oh,
And
grabe yung pressure nun. O, sige, tapos?
yes, sir, but when I asked, some teachers po, they told us to let the issue die down and po. But
Ay, nako!
But, oh my God, sir. Some teachers only, sir, hindi lang. But, we continue.
Ayan, si Jewel, pinagtatawanan yung teacher ngayon. Oh.
Oh my
Ano
God,
yun?
sir.
Ang tawag doon, abdication. Okay, sige, go. Tapos?
But I pushed through with the statement.
Oh my God, no?
Oh, wait. Oh nga, sir. So, we're in the verge of, na one time, sir, like, paalis na yung advisor namin. Sinabihan na ako na exit na siya dahil sa heat, sa pressure of the heat.
Yeah,
Basta,
yeah.
sir, sir, nasa verge na rin po ako na gusto ko na rin pong mag-quit nun. But I told myself, sir,
I'm glad you didn't.
may yes, sir.
And I'm sure but you're also glad that you didn't.
Yes, sir. So, sir, ayun po, napakahirap po pala ng maging leader, especially when you're facing ethical issues po. Ang grabe yung application, sir. Nung na-release po talaga yung statement, sir, tinawagan po agad ako ng isa kong teacher. Gabi rin po, sir, 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. Pero
Anong sabi ng teacher nung tinawagan ka?
sinabi niya po sa akin na pinapagalitan po yung advisor namin.
By the way, that's fair also. Kasama yun.
Yes, sir. And then I cried, sir, to that teacher po. Kasi sabi ko, hindi ko rin po alam yung ginagawa ko, ma'am. I thought, sabi ko po,
So, in-encourage ka ba? Din-discourage ka ba? Or sinuportahan ka nung tinawagan kang teacher?
Pinatahan niya lang po ako, sir, actually. Pinatahan
Support.
niya lang po ako.
Support.
Pero
Sinuportahan ka.
yes, sir, medyo sinuportahan po. Medyo
So
hindi.
so he or she neither supported you nor encouraged you
Yes,
or nor pressured you. That's actually the right response. Kasi mahirap sabihin kung ano yung tama eh.
yes, sir.
Yun yung dilemma, by the way, ng ethics. Mas mahirap ang ethics kaysa sa kasi ethics deal with conflicts.
So,
Wow. Tapos
ayun, sir. Actually, sir, after nung statement, di namin dinilit yung statement, sir. So, ayun,
good for
na-share ng
you.
na-share ng lahat po.
That's a
So,
leadership moment. Okay?
ayun naman po, I saw the ano po, yung especially yung retweets po ng students kasi sa Twitter po sila nagtatago gano'n. Nakikita ko po yung retweets, yung quote retweets ng students ay na thank you na for standing up, gano'n po. So
Wow.
that medyo nabunutan naman po ako ng tinik sa gano'n po.
Masarap yung pakiramdam, no?
Masarap po. Pero ayun, sir, medyo yung heat po from the admin that time, sir, medyo ano po talaga, dumagdag pa po yung gumawa ng frame po for Lenny. Yung pangalan po ng school nandoon po, bawal
Bawal.
bawalan din po. So another hit po yun after nun po. din ako rin po uli yung inano dun na.
Ay, nako. Oo. So,
So,
pero mas madali na i-handle dahil dumaan ka
apa,
na. Tama?
napa-delete po, pina-delete na lang po namin since ano lang naman po, sinabi namin palitan na lang yung pangalan ng frame, ganun po.
Oh.
And po,
Can I ask, kasi it's 12:21, no? We need to step back with what you
yes,
learn.
sir.
And I want to leverage your learnings, your own learnings. If you were going to coach or advise anybody in this group who will go through that, no, that by the way, how old are you when you went through that leadership moment?
Sir, I was 17 or 18 years old.
Wow, ang bata pa. Nung 17 ako, hindi ako dumaan dyan, ha? Oo. Medyo nagtagal ako. Pasaway ako in my previous life. Okay. If you are going to advise or give advice, actually, if you're going to, if you encounter one of your classmates right now who are going through that, how would you approach coaching that person who's going through a similar dilemma?
Sir, actually, sir, close to the heart din po. Nagtatanong na rin po kasi yung next president sa akin, may gusto rin siyang i-advocate. And I said, sir, kasi ngayon naman nalabas ng bagong memorandum na ano na po, pwedeng maging independent ang student government from the school po. So we were basing off that memorandum na po talaga. And I said na before
Well, mas madali na dahil may memorandum.
Yes
Pero
po,
at
sir.
the time you were going through it, there was a
There's
lot of uncertainty. Tama?
Yes, sir.
No, I want to focus there, assuming walang memorandum.
Okay.
So it may not be LGBTQ rights
Yes, sir.
this time again. It can be something else. But how would you advise somebody who's going through a similar ethical dilemma?
Okay, sir.
Kung walang memorandum.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Napakahirap po kasi talaga mag-advise. Pero sir, I think I always said this before, sir, pero I said always be for the students, be by the students, be beside the students po. When even if it's kinda ayaw ng admin. Yun naman po yung ni-leave ko ring message, sir, to the next president. No matter what, no matter kung gaano na kabigat yan, be by them kasi ikaw yung inelect nila, ikaw yung pinili nila na maging nandyan. So be for them, be for the students' advocacy po. So yun po.
Okay. That's a good advice, I think. No? Wow. Galing, Sophia. Ang galing na nakukuha natin today. We have a good harvest in civic learning. Once again, I'd like to emphasize to the class, when we talk about civic learning, I think si Sophia, si Jewel, si Pauline, si Bianca, sila Bless, facilitated civic learning better than I did today, no, and better than how I've done in the other class. And this is actually what we need to be able to bring you guys towards when you craft your venues for transformative learning or venues for civic learning. No, I want to pause here because I want to make it a strong ending for the class on what Sophia has shared. We started earlier on deeper reflections with Sina Jewel on the campaign, on the volunteerism, even with Pauline, with the community, the hospital. We also saw the level up a question with from Ashley on how on political participation, and also with Sophia on actual leadership learning already. Wala pa tayo sa leadership portion, nasa leadership learning na tayo. So gusto kong masabi na ito yung kalidad ng civic learning na kailangan makita ninyo sa mga civic groups. Hindi lahat nandito sa level na to. And in some cases, it can come from you yourself in how you observe and how you try to frame your learnings. And I'll teach you that later. And if you're creating your own groups and advocacy, it also, as well as the advocacy itself, it's the learnings that you create, the learning opportunities that you create for those that will participate and engage, that will make a difference as a leader that you will be. No? So gusto ko tapusin muna doon. Si Pauline may question, sir, wala daw siya. Ano daw ba yung question? Nilaglag ka na namin, Pauline, kasi wala ka kanina. So malas mo. No, just kidding. We were just talking that we were pushing the envelope yung sa hospital, sabi kong ganon. Yung natutunan ninyo, Ashley was asking about how do we create more learning opportunities politically besides election? And I was using an example, sabi ko, paano yung example ni Pauline? If Pauline pushed that towards learning that learning to create a policy already for the on hazardous waste management, no? That is actually an example, would have been an example of political engagement. Yun lang, Pauline. So, to end, it's 12:27. I want to get the attendance of all the stories once again. What was the strongest learning that you had in all the sharings today from both Group 2 and now the start of Group 3? Next session, we will continue with Group 3 sharing, no, after Sophia. Dun sa chat box, please. What was the most valuable learning that you guys picked up? Bianca's house-to-house experience, si Cass. Sige, go ahead, please. Chat box as attendance. Okay. Guys, ang tawag dito, transformative learning to, ha. Itong level na to. We're entering that portion. That's one of the highest form. Direct si Arlene, direct their experiences and leadership skills empowered me more to participate in civic engagements. Very good. Sabi ni Arlene or Arline. Difference of community service between the Philippines and my homeland. Thank you, Ashley. Sophia's experience, okay? Ano ba yung experience ni Sophia? Nalimutan ko. Ano yung experience ni Sophia? Sorry. Ibang Sophia yung tinitingnan ko sa Sorry. Sophia Ramos yung tinitingnan ko. Sophia ko. Okay. Sorry. Wrong Sophia. Sophia's learning and leadership, using these as instruments to reflect and apply what we've learned. Very good, Joel. Okay. Sige. And for me, what I've learned here is the power of peer learning. And I really love peer learning more than a professor type of learning. Okay. Tapos na ba si Gemma Marie? Political engagements includes a broad range of activities which help us develop, express our opinions in the community. Wonderful. Okay. Tapos na ba sa attendance? Okay. Also, Sophia, can I share this also with other class? Kasasama ko yung sharing mo as an example.
Okay lang po, sir.
Okay. I'll keep it within the class. Hindi namin ibabalik sa dati mong school.
Thank you, sir. Oh my God po. Nag-aalala po talaga ako, sir. Medyo. Pero, yeah, it's fine po.
Okay, sige. Okay, I think we're good. It's 12:30, sakto. You guys have a good week ahead. By the way, once again, the speakers that we will have Thursday and Friday are just as wonderful as what I'm telling you right now in the types of learning. They're great people, well experienced, and you will enjoy their sharing. I'll see you guys at Thursday and Friday. Have a good week.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
God
sir.
bless.